Megan and Neil, and this time we're off to Peru to hike the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu. Come with us as we spend 3 weeks exploring the dramatic Andes in the west to the Nazca Desert in the south and the lush Amazon rainforest. Leaving Nazca, we take an overnight bus to Peru's second largest city, Arequipa. Known as the White City, Arequipa is constructed from white volcanic stones. We explore the city's historic centre, a World Heritage UNESCO site, admiring the white stone buildings. We then visit the Santa Catalina Monastery, renowned worldwide as a colonial architectural masterpiece. Hundreds of thousands of tourists visit this site annually. The monastery, with its famous blue and red walls, covers an entire city block and is currently the most important religious monument in Peru. As the sun begins to set on another eventful day, we're treated to a rooftop view of the stunning Cathedral Basilica illuminations. The next day, we head off into the mountains once again for a 3-day trip to the Colca Canyon.
Here we are at about 3,500 metres, looking at the vicuña animal, which is kind of like a llama.
The vicuña is the national animal of Peru. Their wool is extremely fine and very expensive, as they can only be shorn every 3 years. Historically, it was illegal for anyone other than royalty to wear vicuña garments, and they were heavily hunted to endangered status in 1974, when only 6,000 were left. Happily, the population has recovered to about 350,000 and are still a protected species. This is our first time at altitude, and the first effects of which we felt were an extreme lightheadedness and difficulty concentrating. We try a herbal tea of cocoa leaves, which is a traditional remedy.
It's interesting. It's got a very subtle sort of a flavour, but there's also a strange twig in there as well, which is sort of making it taste a bit weird.
Oh.
It's a mixture of cocoa leaves, which are good for altitude, and cha-cha-cacoma. I'm really enjoying it actually. It's an unusual taste.
The cocoa tea helps with the altitude, but we still feel lightheaded.
Here we are, way up a mountain with the llamas. The difference between the llamas and the alpacas is the llama tail sticking up like that, and the alpaca tail sticking down like that. Here we are overlooking Chivai, which is down in the canyon. You can see the road winding down there to get to it, and in the background is the, I think it's called the Misty Mountain, which is reportedly the source of the Amazon River in the Andes. And there is a military outpost or looking point from Inca times, Sheila and Dennis on top. And this is at the head of the Colca Canyon. We're 3,700 metres. Here we are looking down at a pre-Inca, so about 1100-1200 BC thingo used for ceremonies. And inside the theatre where the ceremonies took place, it's the principal table at the head of the theatre. Down here you can probably hear we've got running water way down there. Who knows where it comes from, but of course water is very important for crops and stuff, so it's an important part of the ceremonies.
Our trip up into the Colca Canyon helps us acclimatise to being at altitude for when we hike the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu.
Here we are at the start of the Colca Canyon. You can see there's a little town way over the other side there, and then another 2 just along that path there.
We get up early the next day to go to the Condor Cross, a site at 3,800 metres above sea level. This is one of the best places to see the endangered Andean Condor, as sightings here are almost always successful.
Here we are, just about ready to watch the condors in the Canyon de Colca. It's a long way down there, 1,200 metres from here down to the river, and 3,400 metres from the river up to the top of the Andes. Hopefully we'll see some condors soon.
Ready to turn 30 tomorrow?
I forgot about that. Yes, certainly, it's only a number. Just took a picture there, more or less straight down 1,200 metres to the river. Didn't want to make a wrong step.
And without fanfare, our first condor quietly glides into view. Seeing such huge birds peacefully gliding on the thermals is mesmerising, the enormous backdrop of the towering Andes dwarfing their size. The condor's ability to gracefully navigate the rocky mountain cliff belies the sheer enormity of these majestic birds. The condor is the largest flying bird in the world. Its wingspan is up to 3.3 metres. It builds its nests between 3,000 to 5,000 metres above sea level, and some live to over 70 years of age. Being such a huge bird, it tends to soar on thermals, only using its wings to flap when taking off and for about 1% of its time in flight. To the Incas, the condor was one of 3 totems which represented the 3 stages of life. This Inca trinity consisted of the puma, symbolising earth, the snake, symbolising the underworld, and the condor, which symbolises the sky. The condor was seen as a messenger between the earth and sky, as they are able to fly to great heights and long distances. This made them a link to the Incan sun deities. The Inca people believed that condors carried the dead on its wings to the afterlife. Condors are also seen as a symbol of health and power. Join us next time as we head to Arequipa, Peru's second largest city, and then on to the islands of Lake Titicaca. See you then.